This is the QUBT one-year overview reading for the year of 2025. Currently, it's March 13th, 2025, 11:24 p.m. Eastern Time. QUBT at the time of this reading, $5.49 USD. And the shuffle video for the 2025 QUBT one-year overview reading was created on December 23rd, 2024 at 4:28 p.m. Eastern Time. We're just getting to it now. Had a lot of health issues at the very beginning of the year, so a little backed up. Just want to point out, guys, if you're new to ESO meta-analysis and tarot for traders, ESO meta-analysis uses standardized time periods. So like we'll do a 1 year time frame or 1 year time period for 2025. So even though it's March, we still do the full year. And in cases where part of the year's already passed, once we're doing the reading, it's helpful to actually look at the reading and see and cross-reference it with the part of the chart that's actually transpired in real time thus far, and that gives us a good gauge of whether or not this is an accurate reading. Because guys, you'll be like convinced I'm right all the time. I'm not. Like, there are cases where I'm off. There's human error, and you also have to give plus or minus 2 weeks or 2 to 3 weeks of wiggle room in some cases on the sequence of events for QUBT. I'll explain that a little bit. So just keep that stuff in mind, guys. What we're going to go over in this reading is the overall trend direction and chart behavior for QUBT in the year of 2025. We'll give you chart behavior to look out for near the year's highest high and the year's lowest low, as well as one of the best trades that we see at the very end of the video. So you'll have information when you're trying to determine if we've reached the highest high for the year or lowest lows for the year. And then we would go and review the 2024 reading, but this is the first QUBT 1 year that we've done, so there isn't a 1 year to review. We will review the February 1 month to give you an idea of the accuracy on some of our other readings, and then we're going to come back and we'll give you the week by week sequence of chart events for all of 2025. It's important to understand, guys, that it's the sequence of chart events that we are predicting. The timing is usually on point to the week with a 1 year reading, but there will be cases, like I mentioned, where you need to give it plus or minus 2 to 3 weeks of wiggle room. That's why you must pay attention to the sequence of chart events. Timing is secondary. And this is also the reason why I do not recommend trading this information on your own. It's not as easy as knowing up and down. There's a lot that goes into play with mentality and there's just a ton, guys. Don't be that ignorant to think that just because we know where the high and the low are that you're going to make money. So much happens in between. All right, so if you are serious about trading this information, you're going to want to get access to our monthly access subscription, which gives you access to the live Discord trade alerts. We're in real time. I'm guiding people. So if there is a deviation in timing, or I'm wrong and there's a deviation in like the pattern, which happens very rarely, but it does, I'll be able in real time to keep those people with the subscription updated so that they don't go off of an obsolete reading, if you will. So think of this reading as a guide to the expectations of 2025 for entertainment purposes. If you want to trade, get the monthly access subscription. You must have that. I'm going to show you guys how to get that at the end of the video, so stay tuned for that. All right, so let's get into it. Before we do that, I just want to make sure you're aware, the whole purpose of the channel is to transmute some of the competitive energy of the stock market into goodwill. We do that by following through on the rule of karma for the channel. It's a threefold agreement. You go to the resources tab of our website, Tarot for Traders. 5% of all profits from this information should be donated forward to one of these charities. We really recommend every time you have a profitable trade following through on this so that you don't shut off the flow of abundance through this channel, because there's a serious flow of abundance, but you cannot take it for granted. So 5% forward keeps that flow of abundance going. It also successfully completes the whole purpose of our channel by transmuting some of that energy into goodwill. Imagine if everybody in the stock market did that. How much better the world would be. And then 5% of the profit should be donated back to the channel through one of these links. That's a way to say thank you. It's also a way to express gratitude. And when you express gratitude, the universe sends you more things to be grateful for. So you keep that flow of abundance coming back to you as well. Leaving you with 90%, spend it out of love. That keeps a clear conscience. And as long as you follow those rules, you're an angel investor. The channel universe will send it back to you tenfold for following through. Not to mention, you're going to get my attention if you do that regularly, because you're one of the few and far between people out there that keep my faith in humanity, the ones with real integrity, and I definitely want to know those people. So much love and appreciation, everybody following that. Blessings to all my angel investors. Let's get into it. So QUBT in 2025, we've got an unexpected move to the upside. Usually the star card is some sort of like like there's some sort of scary chart behavior or something, you know, some chart behavior that doesn't lead you to believe we're going to have this huge move, but then unexpectedly there's this huge move, and because it's a theme card that's super, super bullish, it looks like it's most likely out of a prominent trough on a multi-year scale. Everything that I talk about in this reading as far as troughs and support, resistance, and big moves, that's all going to be on the scale of a 1-year chart with 1-day candlesticks, unless otherwise specified, guys. And so this move to the upside, this unexpected move to the upside for the overall theme, it's crossed with the Ace of Swords. So on a scale of a 1 year, this could be indicating a major high of some kind, like a new high or a major high. But what we can really rely upon is that we're going to meet or create a resistance level that's important on a 1 year chart scale. We should decline from that resistance and then return to it at least once in the time frame of this reading. And if not at least once in the time frame of this reading, then very, very likely in the following time frame. So it would be like 2026, but very, very likely it happens here in 2025 at least once. Behavior around the highest high for the year. We have an important resistance level highlighted at the highest high. It's a resistance that we've failed to break through many times before and or will fail to break through many times in the future. Behavior around the lowest low for the year. We have out of a decline, a decline ending with a fast sudden move higher that creates the low. And there's also indications that unexpected move is coming out of a trough or a major low or out of the low for the year, that unexpected move to the upside. There's also, it looks like, resistance that we decline from and return to. It's involved in the low as well, so we're probably within close time proximity to it when we see the low. It could be that we go from the low all the way to that resistance as well. Now, I'm going to give you that week-by-week sequence of chart events and then one of the best trades that I see. Before I do that, let's just take a look and see how we did for February. This was a pretty solid reading, guys. Our readings aren't always like this. Most of the time they are. And you can see this is something that you would have known the timing of the highest highs and the lowest lows for the month of February if you had monthly access subscription, which I'll show you again at the end of the video. But we have a highest high here on the 4th, 5th. You can see on the 4th we had the highest high for the month. We have a lowest low here on the 26th, 27th. It looks like we were just off by a day. The 28th ended up being the lowest low, but even so, really, really close. We nailed the highs and the lows pretty much, guys. There was supposed to be a sharp drop around the 13th. So here off at this price level on the 13th, sharp drop. That's that unicursal. And then an opportunity on the 14th or the 8th. I had it for the 14th. Although the 18th would have worked as well, it might have been an entry. Either way, it was an opportunity to open up a long. You could see that worked out pretty well. You would have closed out of the long on the 19th, most likely, 19th or the 20th. You can see how that came to fruition. So if you've got the monthly access, then you're on point. And here's a good example of what else you get with the monthly access subscription. These are chart ellipses or chart drawings that we have in real time updated with our expectations. You can see how March we're already for the beginning of March already nailed the lowest low thus far. So this is stuff that gets updated to people with the Discord trade alerts for monthly access. They have access to that and get notified when the chart updates. All right, so let's get back into it, guys. Week-by-week sequence of chart events. So in early January, we have a peak early in the month, and it looks like there's a prominent move higher, full retracement of the move in early January. The January high, there's a rally into it that offers significant trade opportunity. I'll talk about most likely at the end of this. Well, it's already transpired, so we'll double-check this. We'll cross-reference. We'll look back and see how this month has gone so far to make sure that we've got the accuracy on point. There's a crest, a rally that turns over near the January low, creating a crest, and then there's an important trough towards the end of January, or around the cusp of January, February. A rally in early February into key resistance, then turns into a decline with consecutively lower spikes up on the way down. Out of the February low, which actually looks like the February low is kind of pulling us over to the cusp of February, March, but out of the February low, there should be a big move to the upside, reaching for distant resistance. That's also a cross-reading congruency, meaning that it has relevance to the multi-year reading as well, something that we also talk about in the monthly access version of this video. There's a sort of a flattening out at the end, near the end of February, and then the February high forms when we have a failed attempt to break through key resistance, followed by a decline through key support. Sideways rotation around the early March, most likely a significant low here, or lowest low thus far here. Sideways rotational on key support on a 1-year chart scale with sideways fluidity, equal amounts of bulls and bear inflow and outflow. And it looks like the March low is like a revisiting of an important support. Might be on a multi-day scale or a multi-year scale. It's hard to say. The March high forms with a prominent move higher and a full retracement. And in the later part of March, looks like there's another notable decline. It does appear like there's a March low mid-March and then a big peak, March peak at the end of March, or maybe on the cusp of April, May, with possibly like a drop in between two highs. Let's see how that turned out. All right, so there's January, February, March. So the January high offers a trade opportunity to open up a short position. You can see how that played out quite well. The death card trough ended up being there earlier, but remember, 2 to 3 weeks of wiggle room in some cases. And then the low was involved in a rally that turns over, creating a crest. And you can see how that came into fruition. Also, this kind of combines the end of the previous year. There's a move higher and then a full retracement. That's that art card. Now, in early February, we had this rally into key resistance and then a decline from that resistance with consecutively lower spikes up on the way down. We flattened out around the end of February. The February high forms when there's a failed attempt to break through resistance, followed by decline through key support. And then out of the February low, a notable move reaching to the upside, reaching for distant resistance. But again, I did mention that this could be on the cusp here, and I think that's probably the case. We have a major low or a lowest low in early March, so that's pretty solid. And it looks like sideways fluidity, equal amounts of bulls and bear inflow and outflow in the early part of March, basically going sideways, back and forth, up and down, but sideways. And that's the fluidity card. The March high should form with a prominent move higher, full retracement. And it does look like we revisited an opportunity at support on a multi-year scale there for the March low. So what we're expecting is this big breakout move to the upside out of the low mid-month, and it looks like that might be happening right now. So that's pretty solid thus far, guys. That's a very good sign, because sometimes, I mean, if that early part of the reading didn't line up with what the charts actually are showing, then it would be an indication that this reading needs to be scrapped and redone. Happens very rarely, but it happens. So I like to check when there's that opportunity. So any case, let's get into Q2. So in early Q2, we've got this erratic behavior back and forth through the same price level. In the midst of that erratic behavior, most likely are revisiting a crest that was recently a past opportunity. That's another indication that we might have a peak, a drop, and then another peak. I'm advised to be very cautious near the April highs, multiple false tops, or some sort of tricky chart behavior there. The April low will form within a period of volatility and a sharp drop that stands out in that period of volatility. And then there's a rally in the later part of April along a diagonal trend line, breaking through horizontal resistance and another resistance before pulling back to somewhere between those two price levels. It looks like there's an April high. This double X is also a cross-reading congruency on the multi-year. I'll talk about again. I'll talk about that like when we get into the monthly access version. Bearish price swings and a prominent trough. So there's a prominent peak in April and there's a prominent trough in early May and probably in late May as well. Bearish price swings are a sharp drop there in early May. Breakout move to the upside out of the May low, which is likely to be mid-month of May. An important technical price level important on a multi-year scale, highlighted at the May high, and then the later part of May we have a near overbought crest that we sell off from through multiple support levels back into an important trough. Decline likely continues into early June, and then out of that decline there's a big move from the bottom of a range to the top of a range. There's a prominent trough within close time. There's a prominent trough on a one-year chart scale within close time proximity to the June high. And a significant trade opportunity that'll stand out amongst other trade opportunities throughout the year of 2025 there at the June high. Interesting. The later part of June, we're going to bumping along resistance sideways, possibly breaking through, bumping along resistance some more. The overall trend is going to, or chart behavior will be bumping along sideways, but overall bullish. And then there's an important range on a one-year chart scale minimum that's highlighted at the June low. In early July, we've got a prominent peak and a prominent trough taking place in early July. A lot of price change covered into and or out of an important support level on a one-year chart scale minimum. In early July, the July low offering significant trade opportunity, a decline that turns over into a rally, or turns up to a rally. Might look at that in more detail at the end of this reading. I haven't decided which trade we're going to do yet, but we'll give you a trade, so stay tuned. And then the July high virtue card indicating we likely see the July high twice within 3 crisscrosses through the same trend line, first to the upside, then the downside, and then to the upside again, usually confirming a bullish trend, but not always. It looks like it probably doesn't in this case confirm a bullish trend, because the later part of July we have a decline through multiple supports with like a pause midway through the decline with some sideways rotation and then more decline. A brief peak that's easily missed in early August, followed by a decline through multiple supports back into a prominent trough. The August high forms when there's sideways rotation and then a big move to the upside into the high. A decline in the later part of August also offering significant trade opportunity. And then the August low, there's a fast sudden move higher standing out of that August low. In early September, we have sideways rotational on key support. And then the September high forms when sideways rotation turns into a big move higher and then more sideways rotation at a higher price level. Significant trade opportunity in the later part of September. Usually the Magus card is a good exit for some sort of trade we're already in. I'm going to look at that in more detail as we progress. Yeah, in this case it looks like it's probably a decline from a prominent peak, a decline there, and then the September low forms when a prominent peak turns over with a sharp decline into the September low. There's a notable reversal in early October, possibly with a prominent peak early in the month. Notable reversal or multiple reversals in early October. The October low is within close time proximity to an important high on a one-year chart scale. And then a lot of price change into and or out of the October high where we break through an important price level on a one-year chart scale minimum, just temporarily creating a prominent peak. And then a lot of price change there with sideways rotation in the later part of October. A possible trough in the end of October, but hard to say for sure. And then a rally turns over in early November with a decline through key support into a prominent trough. There's a notable fake out or shakeout, some sort of intentional tricky chart behavior at the November low, intended to make us do the wrong thing impulsively, so be very, very careful there. There is a breakout at a November low, and 3 pokes through the same trend line in the later part of November, with the third poke turning into a sharp decline into probably a lower November low in the late November. The November high forms probably twice with a U-shaped dip in between. And then in December, we successfully find support. Usually that's when we see a decline leading into that success card. It's usually a decline we find support at a lower level, yes. Usually there's sideways rotation and we successfully find support. The December high forms within a period of volatility and a lot of price change. And the December low, we likely see the December low twice. A low and then a rally out of it through key resistance. We stay above that resistance briefly and then we break back down through that same price level shortly thereafter. Back into lows with a full retracement. We attempt to establish support in the later part of December. Hard to say if it actually comes to, if we do establish it or not. And then the sneak preview for 2026, we have a period of volatility and a fast sudden move higher, ending that volatility, taking us into an important peak on a multi-year scale. All right, so the best trade that I see, guys, and then I'm going to show you guys. Remember, you don't actually want to trade this information. I'm giving you this trade so you get an example of what, like, that extrasensory perception exists and can be used practically in the real world. But do not trade this information without the Discord trade alerts. It's just it's a lot more difficult than it looks. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to get the Discord trade alerts and the live trading view chart links and all of the best trades, as well as the timing of the highest high and the lowest low for the year for this ticker and a bunch of others, all part of monthly access subscription. I'll show you how to get that in just a moment. So the best trade that I see. One of the best trades that I see. Yeah, so the later part of August, right, so we should see a pretty big move to the upside, pushing the upper end of a range higher, even possibly early to mid August, and then there should be a decline in the later part of August from that big move higher. Decline that'll turn into sideways rotation around the end of August or into September. That's where you would want to enter into a long position, and you can hold that long position into the September high, probably the end of September, where we have a big move to the upside that comes out of sideways rotation, big move to the upside, and then the signal to exit would be a sideways rotation at a higher price level there. That's where you would exit. If you miss that exit, there's a backup, more sideways rotation at the October high. And rule of thumb, guys, you don't want to wait for backup exits with SO meta-analysis. Take your profits early with the earliest profitable exit that you have, and take your profits and then just get into another promising trade with those profits. Anybody that's trying to attempt max gain is like in scarcity mentality. A pro trader is looking for max reliability, max probability of exit point. All right, so with that said, that's one of the best trades that I see. Let me know what you think about that 2025 reading, and if you want the timing of the highest side and the lowest low to the week, usually on point. Sometimes we're a little off, but mostly, for the most part, we're on point. If you want the timing of the highest high and the lowest low for the year 2025, as well as all of the expected trades that we see, and then a cross-reference with the QUBT multi-year reading, which hasn't even come out yet, as well as the Discord trade alerts, right? You get, as part of monthly access, you get all of these crypto and ticker symbol channels. There's an alert channel for each of these, and then there's a chat channel where you can ask questions for each of these. This is also where we drop all of the video content. You can see we already have, in the QUB channel, we already have the videos. The April content is already here as of May 13th, already posted. You get that, and then all of this stuff as well, the live trading, day trading alerts for SPY and all that stuff, as well as these chart drawings, all that stuff, guys. These are game-changing services. You go to our website, Tarot for Traders. Why it's not? Okay, go to our website, Tarot for Traders, hover over order now, click on subscriptions, monthly access subscription. It doesn't just get you access to QUBT monthly readings with day-by-day sequence of chart events and the one-year readings with week-by-week sequence of chart events for QUBT. It gets you the same information for all of these tickers in crypto on a monthly basis, as well as their 1 years and their early access to all of our public posts. $300 a month. This is likely going up in value. It's severely other... Oh, that's weird. I'm not sure why I did that, but $300 a month. Severely underpriced. We're likely upping the price of this very, very soon. So if you're lucky enough to get this price, you'll have that for the lifetime of your subscription. So congrats on that. Also, if you want to get a ticker or crypto covered on a one-year chart basis, basically the same type of reading that we just covered for QUBT, you can order a custom reading. This is the fastest way to get your ticker or crypto covered. You go to order now, hover over custom readings, click on one-year report. You can... They're $500 each, and you can specify the year 2025, 2026, and we're going to update this so it's 2027 as well and get rid of the 2024s. If you see it on the list here already, then you could swipe it up for $400 a month. But that's the other way that you can get a custom. Much love, and everybody that's got total access has access to the paid version of any customs that come out. So much love and appreciation. Everybody that goes ahead and does that. You guys are really great supporters of the channel, allowing us to do this full time. Blessings to all my angel investors. You know where to go. You know what to do. I will see you guys on the next one.